can't identify a Mike linebacker on a whiteboard.
Yeah, I totally get what you say when you say it like that. It makes total sense. All right. So, in your opinion, which teams have if there's one team that has the most to gain in this draft, like the team that has to knock this draft out of the park?
Well, I think if you're the Tennessee Titans with all those picks in the in the first 2 days of the draft, you definitely need to knock those out. You need to hit on at least 50% of them, and probably 4 out of 6. You need to really knock those out of the park. I think St. Louis has to get that number 1 pick right, also, because that's the only pick they have until the 4th round. So it's going to be a rough draft for them if they flop at the first pick, and then they get nothing until they got 3 or 4 picks, I think, on day 3, and that's it. I think there's a couple of teams that are on the cusp of being great again, on the cusp of competition. You've got a Steelers team that's a little fading because they've got Ben Roethlisberger, but around him it's built pretty well. They get that other elite piece up in there. They could be fantastic as well. So I think those are teams that need to do it. And then I think the Baltimore Ravens, I think they really need to knock this out. Ozzie Newsome's star has faded of late. He was considered the premier talent evaluator in the NFL, and the Ravens have become I don't want to say a joke, but they've certainly fallen from their pedestal over the last decade or so. And I think that's a team that really needs to knock this one out of the park.
What do you say to the people that say that the fall of the Ravens is somehow tied to Joe Flacco's contract extension?
I think it's ludicrous. At the time that contract came out or whatever, it was looked to be a huge deal, but the reality was a year later it was seen as cheap. Quarterback dollars are absolutely absurd right now, and I think that that the deal that they made was totally fine. Everybody gets jaw dropped when they see these contracts, but the reality is 2 years down the road, which these contracts are only designed to be 2 to 3 year contracts with team options after that. Once they get down the road with these things, it ends up being a fair market deal when all's said and done. So, when Sam Bradford's getting $18 million, I really don't think you can pin too much on Joe Flacco's contract.
Which just still blows my mind. he not double dipped, but I mean, he was the last quarterback to get the big number 1 pick payday, and then has a decent rookie year, gets injured every other year, and somehow comes back with another fat payday that nobody can explain. It just boggles
well,
me.
Coaches love to see that. He's one of those guys that coaches love. You talk about that. There's another guy like that out there just got cut today, Brian Hoyer. Coaches love that guy, and that's what happened. Every time people keep throwing their hands up, like, how does this guy keep getting a contract? But, coaches love those guys, and that's what happens.
All right, before I let you go, who's the number 1 pick going to be?
I was told Carson Wentz. I know everybody out there is saying they're leaning Jared Goff. I was told Carson Wentz. So I'm going to stick with that until I hear otherwise. And if I happen to be wrong, well, it'll be the first Ram scoop I've gotten wrong in about 5 years. So
just defend yourself against the trolls. That's all. All right, before I let you go, where can we find you on the internet?
There's a sad little place called Twitter where everybody hates me, but you're more than welcome to hate me there at Allbright NFL. And you can find my show streaming online at milehighsports.com.
All right. Benjamin Allbright, CBS Sports, 1340 AM in Denver. Thank you very much for joining us. You're listening to It's Keith Grieve Show on Late Night Sports Radio. Take a second, kids. Hear a song you didn't know existed until today. Thanks.
Would you run from me? Should have stayed. hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
It's Keith Grieve Show live on latenightsportsradio.com. Every Monday night, kids, 10 p.m. normally. Started the show off with Benjamin Allbright talking NFL draft. He was actually supposed to be the second segment, but as always seems to be the case with our shows, there's always some kind of technical glitch. And today was my fault because I tried to go to the gym, and try to get my 40-year-old fat, out of shape behind in shape, or at least start on that process. And I didn't do any of the things like, sit in front of the computer and see if it tells me if I need to update my whole system. And I tried to get away without doing that, but nothing would work. No microphone, no soundboard, no nothing. So that inserted phrasing 15 minutes into the process. So just let off with Ben, and it was a great segment. If you missed it, catch it on the rebound. 585-633-7487 is the number to call in. 585-633-7487, or you can hit me on the Twitter at Keith Grieve, KeithGrieve. Yeah, good time. So the NBA playoffs are going on, obviously, and up until tonight, really, the games have not been what you would call must-see TV. Mostly blowouts. And, I'm not going to be the guy that overreacts, like, oh, look at the NBA playoffs. Oh, that's terrible. There's blowouts in the playoffs. Oh, the NBA's in trouble. No, the NBA's not in trouble. However, aside from the game here or there, like the Cavaliers, only winning by 5. Yesterday's game was 123-91. The Heat beat the Hornets. 106-74. The Spurs beat the Grizzlies. 115-95. Clippers beat the Trailblazers, although that game, at least early on, was a little back and forth. Day before, Pacers win by 10. Warriors destroy the Rockets 104-78. Thunder beat the Mavericks 108-70 in a game that was not that close. And you had a nail biter, the Hawks, and the Celtics 102-101. So now enter Monday night. Raptors beat the Pacers, get back even that series 1-1. And the game that just ended, the Mavericks and Thunder. Mavericks win 85-84. Thunder fans had hoped that Steven Adams had banked in a game winner at the buzzer, but after review, play was reversed, and it was a good call. He did not get the shot off before the buzzer. But these are the games the NBA wants in the playoffs. And unsung heroes like Ray Felton, who for his entire career has been nothing but a dog. Ray Felton shot 8 of 16 for 21 points. Ray Felton was the Dallas Mavericks' leading scorer tonight. Yes, I know, but he was. 11 boards also. Now, I don't know what it says, when the point guard that's on the floor for 42 minutes only comes away with 3 assists, and 4 turnovers, but he did score the basketball. Dirk, 7 of 19 for 17 points. For the Thunder, Kevin Durant leading the way with 21 points on 7 of 33 shooting, channeling his inner Kobe there. Russell Westbrook, 8 of 22 for 19 points, 14 boards, and 6 assists. Durant also, I forgot to mention, had 9 boards, but also 7 turnovers. And that's just unacceptable. I mean, you talk about the NBA. You got Steph Curry, who's nursing a bum ankle in the playoffs. You want to talk about the worst case scenario for the NBA is if all of a sudden there's not a whole lot of stars left in the playoffs. You know, God forbid anything happened to Tim Duncan and Tony Parker. They are old. But if, you know, in the Eastern Conference, if LeBron James has a cakewalk, you know, you need playoff ratings. You need compelling games. Now, you watch, if you're a basketball fan, you're going to watch the finals regardless. But is it the same if it's LeBron James against, I don't know, the Dallas Mavericks in the finals? They're not going to make the finals. I'm not saying that, but I'm only talking about the necessity for a compelling matchup. Obviously, Golden State is talented enough without Curry to put up a fight, but do you think that the Warriors beat the Spurs without Steph Curry? I don't. Spurs versus LeBron would be fantastic just because it's the Spurs versus LeBron. It's 6-3 Houston early on, by the way, in the Warriors game. Which leads me to my other subject, and that was Kobe's last game. Mamba Day, if you will. And, you know, obviously I'm a Laker fan. I don't hide it. I'm unabashedly proud of my Laker fandom. I don't feel the need to try to, I'm trying to be a journalist. No, yeah, well, if that happens, great. But it hasn't happened yet. So guess what? I'm a Laker fan. And one of the things, and I don't know what this says about me, but one of the things that makes me like Kobe Bryant so much is the fact that everybody hates him. You know, and here he is. The Lakers season was over in January, if not December. But here he is on his last game ever in a meaningless game. And he shoots like 55 times. 50-something times. I forget what the final tally is. And, you know, I'm watching the game. I stayed up to watch it. And obviously, you know, if you're a sports fan, you already know what happened and how that turned out. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you know what? If you can't win a championship on your last game, that's the way you go. The team just rides your back, and you lead the team come from behind. Yeah, I know there were some fouls that weren't called, but the Jazz weren't playing all-star game defense either. And Kobe still hit the shots. It wasn't like he was driving to the hoop uncontested every time. But the part that ticked me off was the next day, the amount of people that were trying to hack on Kobe for not passing the ball because he's selfish, because he shot so much. His teammates were telling him to shoot, you idiots. This wasn't a game that you're trying to build for the future. He's done. He's retiring. He's old. Going to put his feet up on whatever beach he wants. A different beach every day of the week, probably. This is it. Last chance to see him. I don't want him passing the ball. I don't want to see him get 15 assists. It's his last day. I want to see him shoot. I want to see him score. I want to see him do what he did. And not just because I'm a Laker fan, because I'm a basketball fan. And whether you like him or hate him, he's played a big role in the NBA the last 20 years. And it's an era that has passed. Don't sit there and tell me you want to see the Lakers run organized offense in that meaningless-ass game and watch Kobe try to pass and run an offense, play 20 minutes, and sit down and ice up and then wait for the game to be over to salute the crowd. Don't tell me you want that because you're full of crap. And don't try to tell me that game has any kind of bearing on Kobe's ability as a teammate. We already all know the issues there. That last game has nothing to do with any of that. Don't try to tell me that it's a statement about what kind of an ego he has. I had somebody tell me he's not an MJ. Really, you're gonna try to defeat the Kobe ego argument by using MJ as a shining example? Michael Jordan, really? Do I need to bring up all of the examples there? Rest easy, Mamba. Thank you for everything you did. Believe it or not, it's appreciated. All right, so the rest of the scores, and that's the end of my my diatribe. So let's go back to the NBA scoreboard talk. Games that already happened. The Raptors and the Pacers. Raptors even up that series. You gotta kind of want the Raptors to figure this whole playoff basketball thing out, don't you? I mean, there's not anybody to really hate on that team. In this game, Jonas Valanciunas leading the way for the Raptors. 10 of 18 shooting, 15 boards, 23 points. Kyle Lowry with 18 points. 10 of 10 from the free throw line. He had himself a Steve Taylor day. Although he did shoot 4 of 13 from the floor. 0 for 5 from 3 points. That would not happen in Mr. Taylor's world. DeMar DeRozan, 5 of 18 for 10 points. For the Pacers, Paul George, 28 points. Everyone, y'all forgot about how good Paul George was, didn't you? 8 of 15 from the floor. 10 of 11 from the free throw line. Monte Ellis, 6 of 12 from the floor for 15 points. This Raptors got it done. Trying to find like a telltale stat, of what made the difference. Patrick Patterson. Plus 21 on the night was his rating. 14 points, 6 boards on 5 of 6 shooting in 31 minutes. Not just 31, in 31 minutes. Corey Joseph, 16 points. 6 of 8 from the floor. 3 assists. Got some nice contributions from the bench there. Pacers shot 20% from behind the arc. Only put it up 20 times, though. That's not what did them in. I think the Pacers were out rebounded by 11, though, 44-33. And they gave up 12 offensive rebounds to the Toronto Raptors. It just can't happen. You just can't do it. You just cannot do that. I don't know. What do I know? 585-633-7487 if you want to talk some NBA hoops. Update on the Warriors and the Rockets is now 11-6 Warriors. That didn't last long, did it, Houston fans? Right? Am I right? We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go down the Major League Baseball scoreboard, talk some hard ball. You're listening to It's Keith Grieve Show on LateNightSportsRadio.com. Here's another song you didn't know about.
Second, take a breathing in a moment before it's gone. You never know when love is lost until you find just what it costs to be wrong. I wonder if you think of me passing by, you think you see me coming. I wonder if you pull me in, kiss me just one time again. You won't. Do you remember? coming, and the nights will keep on going till they're tired. Falling fast asleep and as they dream of ghosts of beats filled with desire. The trance of life is all around, a chance to take is always found. Oh, writing on the lullabies on the lonely living life. Oh, in the final hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side. In the final hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side. Take another second to keep breathing in the moment before it's gone. Never know when love is lost until you find just what it costs to be wrong. I wonder if you think of me passing by, you think you see me come. I wonder if you pull me in, kiss me just one time again. The final hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side. In the final hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side. In the final hours of night, do you remember? Hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side. In the final hours of night, do you remember? Lost or found, love lying by your side.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
It's Keith Grieve Show on LateNightSportsRadio.com, 585-633-7487. That's 585-633-7487. We are in the home stretch here. Open the show with Benjamin Allbright talking NFL draft. Talking about the Rams trading up, giving up the Kings ransom to get up to the first number one overall pick. Talked NBA last segment. Talked Kobe Bryant. Why the haters need to just shut up about his last game. And now it's time to dig into what's happening in Major League Baseball. Hey, the Mets won today. 5-2. Noah Syndergaard striking out 8, 7 innings, 5 hits. Giving it over to Antonio Bastardo, who gets his second hold. Familia doesn't look like he's credited for the save, and I'm trying to figure out why. Oh, because he was entered the game when it was 5-1, gave up an earned run to make it close. No, that's not how it works. Not how it works. Good news, some power output for the Mets. David Wright homered. Lucas Duda homered. Neil Walker homered back-to-back. And then Wright homered again in the 9th inning to cap it off. It's important because the Mets can't hit. They're terrible. Wright's hitting 289. Conforto's hitting 286. Cespedes is 283. Yay! Hey, Asdrubal Cabrera, 349. Yeah, buddy. Curtis Granderson, 143. 250 on base percentage. Really? Your leadoff guy? 250 on base. I know he was never a big walker. Okay, I get it. He's not your prototypical leadoff man. But you got to be on base more than 1 out of every 4 times. I'm sorry. It's just not gonna fly. Dear Lord. 250. Thank God it's April. Can't happen. Top of the 9th, the Angels about to finish off the White Sox 7-0. So far, the White Sox 3 hits at home. Hector Santiago with the 7-inning start for the Angels. 2 hits. Struck out 10. Leaves his ERA at 2.61 so far. Word to Big Bird. 13 hits for the Angels. Cole Calhoun, right fielder, 2 for 4. Andrelton Simmons, 3 for 4. Two RBIs for C.J. Cron. Albert Pujols hitting 180. I know, Father Time is a son of a pup, isn't he? Isn't he? The White Sox are sitting at 8-4. You know what? I really would love to see them do something in the playoffs. Just to stick it in Adam LaRoche's face. I got to tell you. I would really love to see the White Sox do something. I know. Let's not get crazy. Brewers and the Twins are in a delay at the end of the 6th, so the Twins are winning 7-4. After starting the season on a big schneid, they're now sitting at 3-9, the Twins are. Baby steps. Bottom of the 2nd, the Diamondbacks beating the Giants 1-0. Giants are 7-6, and I saw somebody on Twitter trying to make a case for how good the Giants are. They might be by the end of the season, but when they're 7-6, just shut up. Seriously. Blue Jays beat the Red Sox today 4-3. Everyone's favorite in the American League. The Blue Jays are. Some people picking them to win the World Series. 7-7 so far. It's okay. Just don't go on a schneid. As long as you're 500, you got time to figure it out. Not time to worry. Josh Donaldson hitting 309. Joey Bats hitting 289. Edwin Encarnacion, 309. Troy Tulowitzki hitting 140. That's a concern. Man. April stinks. It's hard. It's hard to sit through this. J.A. Happ with the win for the Blue Jays today. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Struck out 4. J.A. Happ sitting with a 1.89 ERA to start. Drew Storen gets the save. Get his ERA under a million, sitting at 8.44. For the Red Sox, Clay Buchholz, 6.2 innings, giving up 6 hits and no runs. Doesn't get anything because Koji Uehara gives up 4 runs in the 7th inning, or in the 8th inning. See, apparently you don't understand, Koji. You're supposed to keep the other team from scoring. Sorry, it was an obvious joke. Sometimes they write themselves, kids. They just do. Rockies beat the Reds 5-1. Troy Story. I'm not going to make Trevor Story. Sorry, I'm not going to make the pun that it was a storybook ending, but Story went deep. 8th home run. We went and looked last night on the Bob Sullivan show, in like 5 major league seasons, he's hit like 70 home runs. It's not a lot. He's got 8. Let me be the first one to request a urine test. Especially if he keeps this up through July. Just saying. This is the sports age we live in, kids. I want to know. He's probably clean. I want to know. Marlins beat the Nationals 6-1. Jose Fernandez going 6 innings, giving up 1 run, walking 4, but striking out 9. Tanner Roark went for the Nationals, gave up 5 runs, 4 earned in 6 innings. Giancarlo Stanton, 2 for 3 with a home run. Solo shot. And the Nationals are ripe for the picking again. They're out to a fast start. They're just begging to choke it away. If they do it again, then the monkey's on their back. Then it's totally psychological. You got a new manager. Should be a new vibe this year. If it happens again, you're screwed. Blow up the team. You're not going to figure it out. These things happen. Ask the Cubs after Bartman. Totally blew up the team. Speaking of the Cubs, beat the Cardinals, the interdivision rival, 5-0. Cubs moved to 10-3 on the season. The Cardinals 7-6. John Lackey for the Cubs, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, obviously. Struck out 11. Chris Bryant, 2 for 4. Dexter Fowler, 2 for 5. Look at the standings now in Major League Baseball. The Orioles leading the AL East, 8-3. Everyone was so sure Toronto was going to lead start to finish, but they're only 2.5 back, and it's only April. White Sox and Royals are tied for first. The Tigers a half game behind. The Indians 2. The Minnesota Twins are 3-9. They're only 5 games back. That's, if you're a Twins fan, that's what you're clinging to. Then your typical AL West mashup where everyone's within 2 games of each other. 7-6 Rangers leading the division. In the National League, the Nats first place 9-3. Then the Mets move into second today after today's win, 6-6. Phillies 6-8. Then the Marlins 4-7. Braves 3-9. In the Central, the Cubs 10-3 with a 3-game lead over the Pirates and the Cardinals, both at 7-6. The Reds 6-7. Brewers 5-7. The Dodgers leading the West 8-5, tied with the Rockies. Giants then 7-6. The Diamondbacks 5-8. The Padres 4-9. I'm trying to figure out which teams really got staying power. The Cubbies are just beating the snot out of people. They got run differential plus 45. Who's winning games without scoring though? Those are the teams you got to worry about. Who are the sneaky teams, right? The Reds are 6-7. They're being outscored by 18 on the year. The Brewers are 5-7. They've been outscored by 29 so far, overall. 12 games outscored by 29. Got to be patient if you're a baseball fan. You got to be patient. Let's take a quick run around the headlines and tell you what I think. Steph Curry out for Game 2. And they're still holding it away, the Rockets. What a mess the Rockets are. Can't say we didn't warn you when you signed Dwight Howard. Just saying. Rumors are that the Timberwolves are eyeing Jeff Van Gundy and Tom Thibodeau. Hey, let Thibodeau go there and give that team an identity. Jeff Van Gundy's a fine coach, Rochester, New York native. Let Thibodeau go to a young team like the Wolves and give them a chip on their shoulder. Got to bring in a thug though. Eddie Lacy looks slimmed down. Just wait till he hits. Wait till he ends up in Milwaukee in Oktoberfest. It's all over. Everyone wants to know what's next for the Lakers with Kobe. Anything, everything. You got all this cap room now. Get rid of Nick Young. Keep D'Angelo Russell, Larry Nance Jr., Julius Randle, Jordan Clarkson, and build from there. Don't screw up this draft, especially if you get a high lottery pick. Just saying. Just saying. And we are very quickly running out of time here, kids. I know you're going to be all emotional here now. I get it, but that's it for this night. That is it. Reminder that Wednesday night, we'll have the Fantasy Geeks NFL Power Hour as we get ready for the NFL Draft. Next Monday is the big NFL mock draft. Don't miss that. Mock first round. We've got some special guests joining us. Thursday night, Johnny Babo Show, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great week. Look for Benjamin Allbright. Thank you very much for joining us again. This is Keith Grieve. Catch all my stuff at 87sportsfans.com. And we'll see you next week.